My beloved child, there have been nights when you prayed until no words were left. Tears fell unseen by others, but I saw every single one. You wondered, is anyone listening? Does God see how long this waiting has been? I know because I once heard a prayer just like that, from a woman named Hannah. Hannah had no child. She bore the weight of shame, sorrow, and even mockery from those around her. But instead of bitterness, she brought it all before me. She didn't shout. She didn't display a dazzling faith. It was just trembling lips, assis en prière, and a heart breaking open in my presence. And I heard her. Not a single tear was forgotten, not Hannah's, and not yours. What you perceive as silence is often when I am preparing something miraculous. Because Hannah didn't just receive a child, she was chosen to give birth to a prophet, one who would shape the destiny of a nation. And today, I want you to know, just like Hannah, you have been chosen for this moment. No one else. Not late. Not off course. You are exactly where and when I designed you to be. My beloved, it is no accident that you are alive in this very moment. It's not because you are better than someone else, nor because you meet some special criteria. It is because I have seen your heart, the parts no one else sees. I've seen your obedience, even the kind you don't fully recognize yet. I have chosen you for this moment, not earlier, not later, and not someone else. There are things coming in the months ahead that cannot be entrusted to just anyone. They are designed specifically for you, crafted for the journey I planned before the foundations of the world. You may not feel ready. You may look at yourself and see only your limitations, your wounds still healing, your reminders that you're not enough. But, my child, I have never chosen someone because they were perfect. I choose those who are willing to listen, just as I chose David not when he was strong or celebrated, but when he was merely a forgotten shepherd boy. Yet in that quiet place, I saw the heart of a king, and I see that in you. You cannot ignore what I am preparing, not because it is grand, but because it is real. It will come like an open door, like a gentle reminder, like a small opportunity that you will recognize if you remain awake. I do not want you to walk in uncertainty. I want you to live with awareness that you are standing in a sacred moment where all your waiting, all your testing, and all your silent efforts are beginning to bear fruit. Do not be afraid. What is coming is not a burden. It is a reward. Not a reward because you have been perfect, but because you have been faithful. You did not give up. You did not run from the difficult seasons. And now, I am preparing a new season not to overwhelm you, but to grow you in blessing. You have been chosen because I know you will not keep this to yourself. You will use it to uphold, to heal, and to bring light to others. So open your heart. Step into the days ahead with a renewed expectation, not in your circumstances, but in me. I have never forgotten you. And what is coming is not a coincidence, it is the moment I have written for you. In everlasting love and wisdom, there are times you look around and see nothing changing. Your prayers seem to dissolve into silence. The things you hope for remain out of reach. You begin to ask, Lord, where are you? Do you hear me? Are you doing anything at all? And today, I want you to know I have never stopped working. But I work in my way quietly, patiently, and precisely. I do not always move with thunder or lightning. Often, I plant a seed within you and water it daily with my faithfulness. I change your heart before I change your circumstances. I place the right people in the right place, at the right timino, rushed, not chaotic. I am the one who never sleeps, and my hand is never idle. I am arranging not only what you hope for, but even what you never dared to imagine. Do you remember Joseph, sold into slavery, falsely accused, and thrown into prison? No one thought that was a journey to the throne, but I knew. I did not waste a single painful day, because through every event, I was leading him to the exact place I had ordained. And Joseph said, "What I want you to remember today, you intended to harm me, but God intended it for good." Genesis 50:20. My child, what you see as silence may be, the very moment I am deepening the roots of your faith. What you think is delay may be preparation. And what you perceive as loss might be opening the door to something only I know is so very good. Do not rush to conclusions based on fleeting feelings, for you see only the surface, but I see the entire picture. When you sleep, I am still watching over you. When you are silent, I am still listening. When you are weary, I am still moving. Not a single tear falls without my notice. Not a single sigh escapes you without my understanding. I am never late, and I am never early. I arrive precisely on time, with what is best, in the way I know is most beautiful for your soul. So, my beloved child, be at peace. Though things may appear quiet on the outside, within, I am arranging all things for your good. Keep trusting, for in the silence, I am preparing an outcome that will astonish you and cause you to say, "Only God could have done this." My dear one, I know the dreams you've never spoken. There are things you have longed for since childhood, and hopes you only dare to think of in the stillness of night, when your heart is most quiet. Dreams that seem too vast to believe they could ever be yours. Perhaps you've thought, maybe this is just my own desire, it has nothing to do with God. But if that dream was born from the depths of your heart, where faith shines, where compassion dwells, and where the longing to bring goodness into the world is real, then I want you to know it is not separate from my plan. You were not created merely to exist, but to live with purpose. I place those dreams within you as part of a sacred design, not to torment you if they haven't yet come to pass, but to guide you, step by step, toward what I have already prepared. The things that make your heart race, the things you'd willingly do, even if no one paid you, these are signs that they are part of what I want you to bring forth into this world. Do you remember Joseph? As a young boy, he dreamt of standing while his brother's sheaves bowed down to his. Back then, everyone laughed at him, even despised him. But that dream was the first glimpse of a greater purpose, the one who would save his entire family during a famine. I didn't just give Joseph a dream, I allowed it to be tested. And then I fulfilled it. At the right time, in the right way. According to my design, you are the same. Others may not understand your dream. Perhaps even you have doubted it many times, stuffing it into the drawer labeled unrealistic. But I have never forgotten, and I do not place a divine dream in someone's heart only to abandon them to figure it out on their own. I give the dream, and I also make the way. If you are living in the space between the dream and the reality, know this: it is not failure. It is the journey, a journey of faithfulness, of patience, and of each small door I am opening. Do not rush to compare your timeline with anyone else's. I do all things in perfect time, and I know exactly when you are ready for that great thing you have only dared to call a dream. Your greatest dream is not something I wish to extinguish, it is something I long to walk with you through, so that when it comes to pass, you will know it wasn't just success, it was grace. It was destiny. It was a part of the eternal story I am writing through your life. My beloved child, I know there are moments when you feel like you have nothing left in your hands. No strength, no ideas, no clear hope to cling to. On those days, you wake up without knowing what you're even living for. You try to keep up with the basics: breathing, working, facing others, but inside, all you feel is emptiness. You whisper in your heart, "I'm all poured out, Lord," and it is in that very moment that I come not to scold, but to open a way, for I am the God of new beginnings, not when you are strong, but precisely when you have nothing left. It is when you hit rock bottom that you truly discover who is with you. And I have never left. When every door closes, I don't break in with force. I knock gently, and then lead you to a door you never considered before, a door of life, of hope, and of restoration. I do not need you to have abundance to begin again. I only need what remains, the very last part of it, and if it's just a whisper, "Please help me," and I will do the rest. Just like the widow who had only a jar of flour and a little oil, 1 Kings 17. Yet I made sure it never ran out because she obeyed and trusted me enough to give what little she had. You don't need to have everything. You only need to believe that I have everything and that I love you enough to never let you lack what truly matters. So, my dear child, if today you feel emptied, come closer to me, not with effort, but with honesty. You don't need eloquent words, only a sincere heart. I will make a way. I will give life, not mere survival, but abundant life. Not because you are good enough, but because I am always good. I know you dream of a place to call home, and not just 4 walls and a roof, but a place where your soul can rest. Maybe you're living in a house, but it doesn't always feel like a home. There are places where the lights are on, yet the heart is dark. Meals are plentiful, but warmth is absent. Rooms are beautiful, but there's no sound of genuine laughter. But child, I don't just want to give you a house, I want to give you a home. A home where love is not just ideal words, but daily acts of care. Where peace isn't just the absence of conflict, but my presence in every corner. Where perfection is not required, but forgiveness, listening, and growing together are practiced. And even more eats, where you learn to serve each other in humility and love. Just as my son washed his disciples' feet. Do you remember the home of Martha, Mary, and Lazarus? A small, simple house. Yet it was a place Jesus visited often, not for its luxury, not for its comfort, but because love was there. Hospitality was there, and hearts centered on him. And it was in that very home that someone was called back from the dead. It was there I performed a miracle, not just for Lazarus, but for the entire atmosphere of a family. That's what I long to do in your home. Whether it's a rented apartment or a house you're building, whether it's a small room or a spacious villa, you invite me in, I will enter. I don't look at appearances. I see the space in the hearts of those who live together. If you make me your foundation, I will build not just walls, but unbreakable bonds. Love will be rekindled. Peace will return. Serving one another will become a joy, not a burden. So don't just pray for a house. Ask me for a home. Don't merely wish for enough money to build, wish for enough faith, humility, and love to sustain. Because walls can fall, but where I am the center, that place will stand through the fire of trials, through stormy days, and through the sacred journey of raising the next generation. The home I desire to give you is where you can be your true self, where I dwell, and where love is never lacking. My beloved child, there are things in your eyes that seem utterly impossible, doors that have been shut for too long, limits that appear insurmountable, circumstances you've quietly stopped praying for because you've thought, maybe this will just never happen. But I want you to know this: it is in the very place you deem impossible that I long to reveal my power. I know there are days when your faith feels shaken not because you don't love me, but because so many other voices are trying to crowd your mind. The enemy doesn't always roar. Sometimes he comes in a whisper of doubt. Is God even real? Was that promise really for me? If he loves me, why hasn't anything changed? These questions you haven't dared speak aloud, but I see them. I see how they slip in like a silent fog, clouding your direction and dimming your hope. But today, I want you to pause just for a moment and remember this. The enemy sows doubt, but I sow promises. And my word is not like the word of man. It does not change. It does not contradict itself. It does not fade into uncertainty. My word is steadfast, eternal. When I speak, nothing can stand in the way. When I promise, no power can nullify it. Heaven and earth may pass away, but my word will never pass away. I do not need everything to be in place in order to begin. I am not bound by conditions, circumstances, or human logic. On the contrary, I delight in using the very things deemed impossible to remind you that I am the Creator, the one who writes the new, who brings wonders out of broken pieces. Do you remember Sarah? She was old, beyond childbearing, and had grown accustomed to delayed hope. But when there was no longer human reason to hope, I came and I promised the unimaginable, that she would bear a son, and I did it not when she was young, but when her body was aged, so that my power would be fully glorified. Or Gideon timid, from the weakest clan, a man who thought he had nothing to offer. Yet I called him a mighty warrior while he was still trembling. I used 300 men at 30,000 to defeat an army as vast as the sand on the shore, because I don't need numbers, I need obedience. My beloved, when you look at yourself and see only what's missing, remember, my power is not limited by what you have. I parted a sea with the staff in Moses' hand. I fed thousands with 5 loaves and 2 fish. I used a young woman named Mary to bring the Savior into the world. And I can use you with all your smallness, your brokenness, your imperfections to accomplish what no one dares to imagine. What I need from you is not perfection, but a heart that still believes I can. Because wherever you dare to believe, God still can. That is where I will enter in, revealing myself not with spectacle, but with a power so tender, so deep, so undeniable. My child, let me show you my power not through what you think is possible, but through what you thought was beyond hope. For the place of impossibility is where I do my miracles. There are journeys you must walk alone, decisions that only you can make, nights when no one knows you've cried, and mornings when you still have to smile even though your heart feels shattered. You look around and see others busy, supported, understood, accompanied, while you continue quietly, silently pressing forward, and you whisper within, "Does anyone see me, Lord? Are you still here?" And I answer, "Yes, I am still here. I have never left your side. From the moment you let out your first cry, to every breath you take today, I have been with you. You may not always feel it, but I have held your hand, walked beside you. Even in the moments when you no longer had strength to pray, the places you believed were just you alone were actually where I was closest. And in that silence, I whispered, 'Keep walking. I am holding you.' Every step you take, whether into something new or through the remnants of old seasons, I walk with you. When you rise to mountaintops, I rejoice with you. When you descend into valleys, I do not stand at a distance, I step into them, take hold of you, and stay with you until you rise again. Not to push you forward, but to carry you when the way is too heavy for your own feet. My child, faith is not about always feeling strong. Faith is knowing that even when you don't see me, I am still there. When you are exhausted, I am your strength. When you are lost, I am your light. When you are afraid, I am your refuge. And when others walk away, I remain the one who never turns his back on you. So today, wherever you find yourself on the highest peak or in the deepest valley, take one more step, not because you are strong enough, but because you are not walking alone. With every step you take, my footprints walk beside yours. I know you are not seeking glory. I know you have done many things in silence, unseen, unacknowledged, and often misunderstood. You've kept loving even when it wasn't returned. You've kept giving even while in lack. You've forgiven far more times than anyone knows. And while others may see you as ordinary, I see how hard you've tried. Not a single act of your faithfulness is meaningless. Not one of your sacrifices is small in my eyes. Every time you choose to listen instead of react, to persevere instead of give up, to pray instead of surrender, you are offering me a gift more precious than silver or gold. You do not need to shout for me to hear you. I hear even the whispers of your heart, and I remember them with love. Do you remember the widow at the temple? She gave only 2 small coins, but Jesus said it was more than all the others. Because he did not look at the amount, he looked at the heart. And so do I. I see the worth in what you give, not because it is great, but because you gave it with your whole heart. Perhaps you think, I haven't done enough. I'm still too weak. But I do not measure by results. I measure by faithfulness. What you have silently endured, I have seen. The words you couldn't say, I have heard. The moments when you still chose to trust me, even when you saw nothing that is true faith. And I promise you, not a single drop of sweat, tear, or prayer will ever be forgotten. My child, the path you are walking is not easy, but you have walked it with loyalty, and I treasure that more than any outward ritual. I know there have been times when you felt as though you were walking alone, tired, doubtful, but today I remind you, I am counting every step you take. I see, and I remember, and when the day comes that I open the door, you will look back and realize nothing you've gone through was in vain. Your quiet sacrifices will bear fruit in my time. Your unseen efforts will become living proof of the faithfulness of the Lord your God. There are seasons in your life that seem utterly silent. No affirmation, no clear sign, no miracle, and no one saying, take heart. Things are moving forward. You pray, and then wait, then pray again, and wait some more. And slowly, a quiet question creeps into your heart. Lord, are you doing anything at all, my beloved? I hear even that question. I understand that fear, and I want you to know, even before your eyes see, even before your ears, here I have already begun. You do not need to see to believe that I am at work, because faith is not built on emotion, but on truth, and the truth is, I am always working on your behalf. I am the God of quiet preparation, of precise steps, and perfect timing. When you see no change, I am changing your heart. When you think nothing is happening, I am aligning people, opportunities, resources, and inner strength to prepare for something greater than you imagine. Some miracles are not loud, but they are deep and irreversible. Do you remember the young girl named Mary, before the angel appeared to her? She had no idea she had been chosen to carry the Savior of the world. But in heaven, the plan had already been set. The preparations were complete. The prophecies spoken hundreds of years before had begun to converge. And then, at the right moment, the angel came with the greeting, "Greetings, favored one, the Lord is with you." Luke 1:28. I began long before she knew what was coming. And today, you too are part of a plan just as great. My beloved child, I have not forgotten a single one of your prayers, not even the ones you whispered years ago and have long since forgotten. There are things you thought had lost all meaning, yet I am reviving them in my own way. I do not measure time by your calendar, but by eternal purpose. I am building something far greater than what your eyes can now see. I am shielding you from things you do not yet understand. And I am shaping your heart so that when the blessing comes, you will be able to hold it, use it for good, and not be swept away by pride or fear. When it feels like nothing is happening, do not let the silence deceive you. Silence does not mean absence. Delay does not mean denial. I am the one who works even in stillness. Like a gardener, I cultivate seeds while everything remains beneath the surface. No one sees the roots growing, but in season the sprout will rise, and the fruit will bloom. You may be in a hidden season now, but hidden does not mean dead. It means life is unfolding beneath, preparing to rise strong in its time. So, my child, keep praying. Keep being faithful. Keep believing, not because you see it, but because I have spoken. Let your heart find rest in this truth. I have begun. I am working, and I will complete it. Nothing in your life is random. No day of waiting is wasted. Goodness is on its way not because you deserve it, but because I am faithful. Child, the enemy will try to make you forget what I have spoken. He'll push you to focus on your feelings instead of my word. He'll whisper that silence means I've withdrawn, but I have never withdrawn from anyone who places their trust in me. Every promise I've made I will keep, not because you are always steady, but because I am unshakable. You may tremble, but my word does not. You may be weak, but my word is an everlasting rock. When doubt comes knocking, do not open the door with emotion. Open it with the word. Every time you declare my promises aloud, you are resetting your spiritual foundation on the rock. When you choose to believe what I've said over what you see, your heart is strengthened in true faith. The enemy fears that because he knows one person who clings to God's word is a person hell cannot shake. So, my dear one, even if the winds rise, even if the questions come, even if your heart wavers, keep returning to what I have promised. Write it down, speak it aloud, pray it through, and believe this: everything I have said, I will fulfill, not according to your timing, but according to the perfect timing that is mine. And one day, you will stand in the midst of what has been fulfilled and declare, Lord, truly, you are faithful. You never once forgot your word. And your faith is not some fragile emotion or vague hope. Your faith, though as small as a mustard seed, can move mountains not because of its size, but because of the one in whom you've placed it. I have seen your faith in the darkest days. I have heard your trembling but sincere prayers. And I want you to know that very faith is the foundation for the great things that are coming. When I prepare to pour out blessings, I do not look for perfection, I look for trust. Just as a builder needs a firm foundation, I need your faith to establish what will last. Blessing is not only the result, it is the fruit of a journey of trust. Every time you choose to believe amid uncertainty, every time you pray when nothing is visible, you are digging deeper. And in due time, the blessing will be laid upon that foundation solid, unshakable. The blessing coming into your life is not merely a reward, it is the outcome of a foundation of faith built through tears, perseverance, and hope. You may not see every step of progress, but I am constructing each layer of goodness with the very trust you are offering me day by day. Do not underestimate the small steps of faith. They are building a spiritual ground more solid than anything you've ever imagined. My beloved child, when the winds rise, a house may tremble, but if its foundation is solid, it will not collapse. And just the same, when you enter your season of harvest, what you reap will not merely be what you wished for, but what you prayed for, obeyed for, and stood in faith for. Every amen you uttered when you saw nothing, I remember. Every quiet declaration of, I believe God is still working, I have recorded. And I will never let that kind of faith fall into emptiness. So, my child, keep building not with bricks and mortar, but with faith. Keep believing, even before you see the evidence. For what I am about to give you does not require a foundation of ideal circumstances. It requires a foundation of trust, and you already have that. Be ready, because on the foundation you've laid, I will raise up something no one can tear down, a blessing that is enduring, unshakable, and unmistakably marked by me. I see you standing before walls that feel insurmountable. There are limits in your strength, your situation, your past, your relationship, 7, in your own thoughts. There have been moments when you've told yourself, I can't go any further. This is as far as I can go. But child, what you call a limit, I call a beginning. For I often start where you stop. When you run out of ways, that's when my path begins. I do not choose those who have it all. I choose those who know they need me. I'm not asking you to break through every limitation. I'm only asking you to place them in my hands. A limitation, when surrendered to me, is not failure. It's the raw material for a miracle. Like the woman with only a jar of oil, like Moses with a simple staff, like the boy with 5 loaves and 2 fish. What is small, limited, or weak, when placed in my hands becomes the doorway to the unexpected. Breakthrough doesn't always come with a mighty thunderclap. Sometimes it comes as you kneel in silence, whispering, Lord, I don't know what else to do, but I still believe you're working. And that's when I begin to open doors. It may not be the door you imagined. It may not be the easy path, but it will be the road to glory, not so that you may boast, but so that you may testify of my power. My beloved, do not fear your limitations. See them as signs to posano, to surrender, but to invite me in. When you reach the end of the road, I am the one who creates a new way. When you are drained, I am the source of life. When you cannot, I am the Almighty. And what I will do through you cannot be explained by human strength, for it will be a breakthrough marked by heaven's signature. So today, if you feel limited, don't panic. Offer it to me. Don't count yourself out of the wondrous story I am writing. I am not finished. In fact, we are only just beginning. And where you thought stood the final wall, I will turn it into your first door. You may often wait for great miracles to define my faithfulness. You long to see mighty things, wide open doors, spectacular fulfillments of prophecy. But my child, do not overlook the small things, for it is in them that I am gently whispering, I am still here. My faithfulness is not only revealed in the grand, it is proven daily, in the quiet rhythms of your life, in each breath you take, and in every moment of peace that comes without reason. Do you remember the day you were weary? With no words left to pray, yet somehow you had the strength to get through another day. That was my faithfulness. Do you remember when you didn't know where the last bit of provision would come from, and just in time an answer arrived? That was my faithfulness. There were times you didn't even realize it. But I kept you from harm, from missteps, from paths that would have deeply wounded you. It was no coincidence that was my hand quietly intervening. My faithfulness does not come to impress, it comes to protect, to uphold, and to keep you close to me. I am not a God who only shows up in moments of great need. I am the one who walks with you step by step on mornings when no one sees how hard you fought to carry on nights when your eyes close but your heart is restless. Every seemingly small detail a timely encouragement, a light upon your path, an unexpected verse that speaks to your soul's living proof of my faithfulness. Do you remember Elijah when he was exhausted and begged to die? I did not rebuke him. I did not demand a stronger prayer. I gave him rest, fresh bread, and cool water. 1 Kings 19. Because I know sometimes what you need is not a thunderous miracle. Butkiye. Practical care, straight from my heart. That is faithfulness not loud, but deep. No tatsling, but life-giving. So, my dear one, learn to see life through the lens of gratitude. Count the small things and you will see. I have been, I am, and I will always be faithful to you. When you could barely believe, I remained true to my word. When you didn't even know what to ask for, I had already made provision. When you thought you were forgotten, I was behind the curtain, preparing something greater than you dared to dream. My faithfulness is not only written in Scripture, is being written into every small detail of your life, daily, unceasing, unfailing, unforgotten. I have seen you walk patiently through days you thought would never end. I have watched you battle in silence unnoticed, misunderstood, and at times without the strength to even explain. You've lived through wounds, through lack, through disappointment after disappointment, and you've started to believe, maybe I will always be this person, the weak one, the one who failed, the one who wasn't enough. But my child, I do not define you by your past. I define you by the promise and purpose I placed within you from the very beginning. It is time for me to lead you into a new season, a season of breakthrough. Not just a change in outward circumstances, but a release from within in how you see yourself, how you walk forward, and how you dare to believe that I can do what has never been done before. What once held you back, I will remove. The labels that once clung to you, I will strip away. The boundaries that seemed unbreakable, I will renew by my power. There is nothing in your hands too broken for me to restore. My beloved, the things that once wounded, you no longer have the right to define you. You are not the pain you endured, not the mistakes you made, not the results you haven't yet seen. You are the one I have chosen, loved, redeemed, and set apart for this new season. I do not call you a victim, I call you a victor. I do not look at you with disappointment. I see you as a precious vessel in the hands of the Creator. And do you know this? Breakthrough doesn't come when everything is easy. It comes when you choose to believe in the face of contradiction. When you dare to say, I don't fully understand, but I'm willing to follow you. That is the moment I begin to open doors. Breakthrough is not merely a miracle in a single day, but a series of small, faithful, obedient steps that lead to great transformation. And you've come farther than you think. Don't turn back. Don't let go. Keep going, for I have destined glory at the end of your path. My child, this is the season in which I am shifting your life not temporarily, but permanently. It's not just a change in location, job, or emotions. It's a change in how you live, how you walk in your calling, and how the world sees me through you. From today on, Walk no longer under the shadow of your past, but in the light of my eternal promise. For I, the Lord Jehovah, will not just lead you out, I will lead you in. And this is the breakthrough season you have been praying for. I do not bless you only to satisfy you. I bless you so that you may become a living sign of my faithfulness. Everything I give, from the small to the great, carries a purpose that reaches beyond you. You are the receiver, but you are also the one who will carry living water to those who are dry. I do not give for you to store up, I give so that you may shine. Be an example, and lift up those who are falling. You once said, Lord, I just want to live a normal life. But I see more than that. I see others who will be encouraged by your story. When they see what I have done in you, they will believe that I can do it in them. You don't have to be a preacher or a public figure. Simply live authentically live with gratitude, by faith, and in love, and your life itself will become a living letter I send into the world. The Samaritan woman at the well was a testament to faith. She was just a woman cast out by society, living in silence and shame. Yet after a single encounter with Mesha, became the first to proclaim the good news to an entire village. No one believed she would be used, but I used her, not because she was perfect, but because she was transformed. And that transformation became a living testimony. The blessings I give you, whether healing, restoration, or prosperity, come with a mission. Others will look at you and find hope. They will see that God still moves, still cares, and still does new things in this generation. And in that moment, your blessing is no longer just personal, it becomes a bridge drawing others closer to me. I am writing a story through your life, and I want to use you as a living witness. So, my child, do not hesitate to share your journey. Do not think that what I've done for you is small, because what feels small today may be the light that saves someone else tomorrow. Live as one who is sent not by might, but with gratitude. Every smile you offer, every time you say, God is still good, every faithful step you take carries power greater than 1,000 sermons. My beloved child, the blessings you receive are not meant to stop with you. They are bridges that lead others closer to me. And I have chosen you, not because you are perfect, but because you are willing for me to shine my light through you in this world. So keep walking with gratitude, with faithfulness, and with a spirit of generosity, for your life will not only be blessed, it will become a blessing to many. My child, when you begin to doubt, look back at history, not human history, but mine, with my people. Every page of Scripture stands as living proof that I am a God who keeps His promises. I do not forget. I am never late. I am never unfaithful. From Genesis to Revelation, generation after generation walked through fire, wilderness, captivity, and battle, yet, in the end, they all declared, God is faithful. Hember Fisti, many times my people faltered in faith, but I never wavered in love. When they were unfaithful, I corrected them, but when they returned, I always restored. I am not a man that I should break my word, nor a worldly king who changes his mind with emotion. I am the unchanging Lord. What I have spoken I will do, and if you belong to my people, then that faithful history is yours. 2. My child, if I kept my word to Noah, Abraham, Moses, Joshua, David, Daniel, Esther, Mary, Paul, then I will keep my word to you. I do not have double standards. I show no partiality. If I have promised you something through the word, by the Spirit, in a dream, or a conviction in your heart, then you can stand firm on it. For my promises are not tied to a season, they are anchored in my eternal, unchanging nature. So do not live according to the emotions of the moment. Anchor yourself in the history of my faithfulness, written over thousands of years. You are stepping into that same stream, and one day, you too will rise and testify. The Lord has fulfilled His word. None of His promises have failed. Ibicon, I know you've waited longer than you expected. Some promises you've held close for months, even years still unfulfilled. There are prayers you've repeated so often you no longer have words. And at times, you wonder, am I going the wrong way? Am I waiting for nothing? But child, not a single moment of your waiting is wasted. Your patience and faithfulness are the very key that unlocks the door to the blessing I've prepared. True blessing does not come through haste, it comes through endurance. Just as a farmer cannot rush the harvest, you cannot force spiritual fruit to appear before its time. I am using this season to deepen your roots, so that you will not only receive the blessing, but be able to sustain it. Patience is not passive, is the steady action of a heart that refuses to take its eyes off me. Whether the skies are clear or cloudy, your quiet faithfulness day by day, though unseen by others, is precious to me. You may think, I'm just living my normal life. But every act of obedience, every moment you choose to pray through weariness, every time you stay faithful when it's hard, you are building the bridge to your season of blessing. I see it, and I promise, at the appointed time, I will open the door, not just any door, but the one I have designed especially for you, my beloved child. Do not compare your journey to someone else's. They may arrive earlier, but that does not mean you have been left behind. I have a unique timing for each of my children, and you are not forgotten. In fact, every faithful step you take is shortening the distance between your present and my promise. You may not see it clearly now, but soon, every piece will fall into place. And when you look back, you will thank me for teaching you how to wait, how to remain faithful, and how to trust in the midst of uncertainty. So, my child, be patient. Stay faithful, not because you need immediate results, but because the one who promised is always faithful. The door of blessing is about to open, and when it does, you will enter not only with a gift, but with a heart mature enough to value, protect, and share it rightly. You will be living proof that waiting in faithfulness is never in vain. There are times when your present feels dull, aimless, even dark. Everything seems to move more slowly than you expected. The door has yet to open. The dream remains unfinished. And you begin to evaluate your worth through the lens of your circumstances. But I want you to stop. Do not judge the present solely by what you see. For Godam orchestrating something miraculous, even in the quiet. Human eyes see only the surface. But I look deep within. When you think nothing is happening, all of heaven is in motion, like a clock that hides its intricate gears. Your life is being carefully turned, detail by detail, by my wise hand. I waste no season, not even the ones that feel unremarkable. Every part of your present, even the hard parts, are raw material for the miracle you're about to walk into. I know you long to see something to feel encouraged, but I am teaching you to see with the eyes of faith. You won't witness the wonder if you rely only on emotions or surroundings. I am working in hearts, in timing, in System 7 within you, so that everything will converge at a sacred appointment I've already scheduled. And when it happens, you'll realize this present season wasn't meaningless. It was simply the quiet stage of a greater miracle. So don't grow weary when you don't see anything extraordinary. Keep being faithful. Keep doing what's right, even when no one notices. Keep praying, even when the answer hasn't come. Stay steadfast, for what you're waiting for is not delayed. It is simply being prepared to arrive at the perfect time, in the perfect way, by my design. Even when your eyes see nothing, I am still working, and the miracle is drawing closer with every passing day. Don't measure the present with natural sight. Look through faith, because what I'm preparing will astonish you. It won't just change your circumstances, it will transform how you see me, how you see yourself, and how you understand your purpose. You are not forgotten, you are being prepared. And the wonder I've destined for you, no one can prevent it. You may think you're just doing ordinary things, working, caring for your family, trying each day to build a decent home. But I want you to know what you're building is not just a house. It is a legacy. Every act of faithfulness, every small prayer, every time you place me at the center of your choices, you are writing a story that will echo through generations. You are building with faith, with obedience, with kingdom values, and these bricks will not crumble with time. When you teach your children how to pray, when you give generously, when you choose forgiveness over bitterness, you are etching into the souls of the next generation a portrait of a life founded on God. And true legacy is not wealth left behind, but faith, values, and the living presence of me breathed into every part of your family's life. My child, you may not yet see the whole picture, but what you sow today, I will bring to life in the future. A prayer you offer today might be what anchors the heart of your grandchild 10 years from now. A single act of forgiveness today might break a chain of pain that has lasted for generations. For you are not living only for yourself, you are living for a lineage behind you. Do not underestimate the small things you do in my name, for I do not forget your labor. I see every silent sacrifice, every time you choose what is right when no one is watching. Every morning you intercede in prayer for your family. These things I record them, and I will bless not only you, but your descendants as well. This is my promise to those who love me and walk in my ways. So, my beloved, keep building, not just with your hands, but with a heart poured out for me. Live with a vision greater than today, for you are not merely building a house, you are establishing a legacy. One day, when you are no longer on this earth, your voice will still echo through your lifestyle, through your teachings, through the faith you've sown, and each faithful God will protect and cause that legacy to bear fruit that lasts forever. My child, when you look around and see no source of provision, do not assume I have forgotten you. I am not limited by budgets, by circumstances, or by closed doors. I do not require favorable conditions to act for. I am the one who creates every condition. I am the Lord who brought water from the rock and rained manna from heaven. My provision always comes, and it often comes from places no one would expect. When the Israelites wandered in the wilderness, they had no markets, no harvests, no resources. Yet every day, I provided them bread from heaven. Each morning, the manna covered the ground like dew enough for every household, every person, with nothing lacking. When they thirsted, I caused water to burst from solid rock, something no one thought possible. That was not merely a miracle, was the faithful nature of my heart for my people. I know what you need, and I do not ignore it. But remember this, I do not always provide the way you expect, but I always provide the way that is best. When you think the road has ended, I will open a new path. When you believe you have nothing left, I will use that very place as the starting point. For the wonder of my kingdom is this: nothing is wasted and nothing is impossible. I am the God who specializes in breaking human limits. I am not controlled by statistics, by reports, by age, or by experience. What man sees as a barrier, I transform into a platform for miracles. Do you remember Sarah, when all reason said she was far too old to bear a child? I came and declared a word. By this time next year, you will have a son. Genesis 18:10. And what was once impossible became a vital part of the lineage of promise. So, my dear one, when you do not know what to do, close your eyes and say to me, Lord, I can't see the way, but I know you are the source. That is when you will see my power move, not from where you expected, but from where I have ordained. An unexpected door, an unplanned phone call, a stranger with exactly what you need. It is not coincidence, it is the provision of your heavenly Father. My provision is never late, and it is not dependent on circumstances, it depends on me. I have never failed a promise. If I cared for my people in the wilderness for 40 years, with clothes that did not wear out and feet that did not swell, then surely I will care for you every meal, every payment, every need. You do not live by what you see, you live by the one who never lets you lack. Each day when you wake, your mind may be filled with worries, pressures, or the negative voices of your circumstances, but I want you to begin your day not with fear but with a declaration of faith. Just one simple phrase, God is with me, is enough to drive back the darkness, burn away doubt, and lift your spirit in the midst of uncertainty. It is not a slogan, it is an eternal truth. I spoke in Isaiah 41:10, do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. When you repeat this, you are not merely reassuring yourself, you are activating your faith in my promise. A declaration is the act of placing trust in what I have said. Even when your emotions have not yet aligned, my presence is not dependent on how you feel, it is anchored in my covenant with you. You may not see me with your eyes, but my word is true. When you declare, God is with me, you are pushing back loneliness, doubt, and the lie that you must handle everything on your own. Whether you're facing work, illness, relationships, or unfulfilled dreams, you are not walking alone. You are walking with the Almighty, and my presence shifts the very atmosphere around you. Declaring truth doesn't change. Maybe it changes how you walk. When you say, God is with me, you step forward with new courage, with peace that surpasses understanding, with faith that no matter what comes, I am there. As Psalm 16:8 says, I keep the Lord always before me, because he is at my right hand. I will not be shaken. You will not be shaken when your mind is set on the one who never changes. So each morning, each time anxiety rises, each moment when you don't know how to pray, begin with this simple phrase, God is with me. Say it out loud. Speak it again and again to your soul. Because as your mouth declares, your heart will grow strong. And from that place of faith, you will see my hand move, not because you are strong, but because you are holding on to a promise that never fails. My beloved, declaring God is with me is the key to sustaining your faith, not just in the good times, but in the everyday moments. And I, the Eternal One, will fulfill what I have spoken. Every time you declare it, heaven touches earth, and that very declaration will keep you grounded in peace, empowered with strength, and covered by the protection of heaven. Don't think you have to be perfect for me to use you. I have never searched for spotless people. I look for willing hearts. I do not wait for you to meet every condition before I call you. I call you in the midst of your imperfection. You may see your flaws, but I see the potential I have placed within you. You may doubt yourself, but I have never doubted my decision to choose you. I have used those who seemed unqualified to shape history. Paul was once a persecutor of the church, but I transformed him into an apostle to the nations. Moses stuttered and was afraid, but I called him to deliver my people. David was just a shepherd boy small in the eyes of others, but I saw in him a heart after my own. What I look for is not ability, but a heart that is willing to obey. My beloved child, if you wait until you are perfect to walk in your calling, you may never begin. Because perfection is not the requirement, it is the result of a journey with me. I use your weakness to reveal my strength. I use your inexperience to display heavenly wisdom. What I need from you is this: a willing yes, a tender heart, and the kind of faith that dares to move when I speak. Remember my words in 1 Corinthians 1:27-29. But God chose the foolish things of the world to shame the wise, so that no one may boast before him. My choosing is not based on achievements, but on humility. I do not use the most capable, I use those who belong to me and are willing to walk in dependence. And if you have that, then I can do far more through you than you ever dared to dream. So, my child, do not let shame, failure, or your past hold you back. Offer yourself to me, a willing vessel, even if not yet complete. I do not need you to know everything just to be willing to learn. I do not need you to be strong just to lean on me. And I promise I will lead, equip, and transform you along the way. I am not looking for perfection. I work through obedience. And if today you say, Lord, here I am, that very response will unlock a divine plan I prepared long before. Not because you deserve it, but because my grace is enough for you. Be strong in heart, for you are in the hands of the one who knows exactly what he's doing. My beloved, there may be times you ask yourself, do I really deserve this blessing? You see your flaws, your past mistakes, the times you've stumbled, and you begin to doubt the goodness I'm pouring into your life. But hear this: blessings do not come because you are flawless. They come because you are my beloved, chosen, called, and covered by me. I did not choose you because you have no faults. I chose you in spite of them. My blessings are not earned through spiritual performance. They flow from a relationship between a father and his child. Just as a father does not stop loving his child when they get things wrong, I do not stop loving you. Not because you've done everything right, but because you are mine. And when you grasp that, fear and shame lose their grip, and gratitude and trust take their place. Do you remember David? A shepherd boy so small and seemingly insignificant that when the prophet Samuel came to anoint a king, his own father didn't even think to call him in. He was forgotten among his taller, stronger brothersmen who looked the part. But I said to Samuel, the Lord does not look at the things people look at. People look at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. 1 Samuel 16:7. I chose David not because he was perfect, but because his heart was turned toward me. From the quiet fields where no one noticed, I lifted David to be king over all Israel. He did not live without mistakes, but throughout his life, he knew how to repent, to seek me, and never wander far from my presence. That is what I long to find in you, a soft heart, ready to return, ready to grow, ready to love. When you live as a child, not as a servant hired for tasks, blessings come not because of perfection, but because of relationship. So if today you feel like you're not enough, remember this: you are the one I have chosen, not because you are without cracks, but because I desire to use those very cracks to reveal my grace. Lift your head not in pride, but in the quiet confidence that you belong to me. Blessing is not a reward for the worthy, but a gift to the one who dares to receive it by faith. You don't have to strive to be chosen. You are chosen, and because you are my beloved, I will lead you through the dry season, lift you through the trials, and fulfill every good thing I've promised over your life, not because you are perfect, but because I am faithful and unchanging. There are moments in life when everything seems ordinary. No great miracles. Nothing remarkable happened. Just days filled with work, responsibilities, and quiet waiting. But it is in those moments when you expect the least that I may bring the breakthrough. Not when you feel your strongest, but when you remain faithful. For you do not know the day or the hour, therefore keep watch. Matthew 25-13. I do not reveal the exact moment my promises will arrive, but I am always looking for a heart that is ready, like the wise virgins who kept their lamps burning through the night, not knowing when the bridegroom would come. You too, keep your lamp of faith burning, even when nothing seems to move. Breakthrough doesn't require external readiness, it demands inner alertness. In Acts 16, when Paul and Silas were imprisoned at midnight, they weren't asking for a miracle, they were simply singing and praying. But in that moment, a divine earthquake broke their chains and flung open the prison doors. They didn't know when, but they were ready in spirit. That shows you, heaven's breakthrough doesn't follow your schedule, it follows my timing. I can open a door of provision while you're simply walking in quiet faithfulness. I can heal with a single prayer you thought was too small. I can turn a situation around right after a weary day, but only if you're willing to believe, to stay awake, and to hold on. Breakthrough doesn't always crash in with thunder, it often comes in stillness, clothed in my power. So, my child, do not fall asleep in the waiting season. Stay awake not with anxiety, but with faith. Live each day as though today could be the day the miracle arrives. Keep your heart pure, your spirit sensitive, and your spiritual eyes open, for I am closer than you think. Don't just wait for something big. Be alert in the small things, for every breakthrough begins with a simple step of obedience. Breakthrough may come when you least expect it, so always be ready, not out of fear of missing it, but out of trust in the Father who is always right on time. When you are watchful, you won't just see what I do, you will step into it with joy and fullness. And you will say, the Lord came when I least expected, but he was never late. You've walked with me through every promise, every season of waiting, every whisper of my spirit in your heart, every truth, every story. Every word is not just a message, it's a reminder that you are not alone. In every season, from wilderness to promised land, from night to dawn, I have been there. Constant, faithful, unchanging. My purpose is not just to bless you, but to teach you to live as the one I have chosen, not because you earned it, but because you are called by my name, not because you are flawless, but because you said, Lord, I am willing, and that your willingness, your faithfulness, your alertness has made room for a life more meaningful than you can imagine. If your heart is weary, return to my word. If your mind is doubting, remember the path I've already walked you through. If you're still waiting, I know that I'm still moving, even if your eyes can't see it yet. The blessing is not only the destination, it's every step you take in faith, every time you choose to believe in me over your circumstances. And you, through it all, are becoming a living testimony of the faithfulness of God. Live not just to receive, but to reflect. Love not just because you are loved, but because you have tasted the love that never ends. And each day, begin with this simple yet powerful declaration: the Lord is with me today and forever. For that alone is enough to carry you, keep you, lead you, and make you a light in a world full of darkness. My beloved, this is not just a letter, it is a holy reminder that you are living in the plan of the Eternal One. And if you remain steady, faithful, and unwavering in trust, then nothing you've lost will be wasted, and nothing you're waiting for will be forgotten. For I am the one who promised, and I will fulfill it. Thank you for listening to this message. Know this: you are not just an audience. You are chosen to live daily in the presence of God's Word. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any sacred message. Amen.